Hey, what's going on, guys? So, probably haven't made a video in a while, so just life has been getting to me. But decided to make this one because this is probably one of the, I guess, a big issue with older fox bodies, especially once you run coilovers and you just beat the shit out of them. So, with these cars getting older, you're probably gonna run into this issue if you actually do just beat the shit out of your car and you run coilovers and stuff like that. So, without further ado, here I'll show you what happened to my car. So, started off with a flat tire, cut a nail. And then I noticed one of my wheel bearings was loose. It was bad, so no worries. But then, yeah, strut tires decided to rip themselves off. I think I'm pretty certain when it happened. A couple days ago, I hit a pretty nasty bump, and I noticed the car was sitting a little bit lower. And I just did not want to even bother removing the wheel. So you can see the damage here. It's just completely just cracked. This is just old, weak sheet metal. It was never meant to be as structural as for like coilover mounts. That's why you always have this pocket right here. But it's very difficult to find, adjustable shocks and all that good stuff. That's not a coilover because that's modern times shit. So that's the shit that happens sometimes. So what I'm gonna end up doing is showing you guys kind of like the process of repairing it. Of course, remove all your interior, and then it's gonna look something like this. It's just gonna look nasty with all that fucking goop on there. It's all that seam sealer. You're gonna have to remove all of it. So try and get it as clean as possible. Every single spot where you see a crack, just follow it until you find the very end. Like that one I should probably still keep going, but like this one down here, I didn't even know that one was there until I kept chasing the crack and removing all of it. So huge tip there, keep following the cracks until you find the very end of them. If not, you're gonna go and think that you repaired them all, but that crack is just gonna keep forming and keep following. So I'm gonna try and probably start my bead there, or if not, drill a hole. By drilling a hole at the very edge of the crack, what it does is it relieves that stress point, so it prevents the crack from wanting to keep forming. But we'll see how it goes. So here's I guess step one. All right, cool. So I got my welding set up. Right now I'm currently only welding 110 because I completely forgot that my 220 plug was over there. So I should have probably backed the car in before I tore it apart. Anyways, so this is how I'm probably gonna go for it. So I'm gonna start at the top of the crack. I'm just gonna follow it, and as I'm following it, I'm putting that sheet metal back to where it was. So this sheet metal does have a little bit of memory, and all these contours all fit together properly. So start on one end and just work your way down. And then the same thing for like cracks like these. I'm slowly just gonna work all these like smaller cracks on the outsides, work all these back to get this main piece structural again, and then I'll probably start working a way to how to combine these two back again, and then weld all the way completely around it. This was actually something I've always wanted to do, was fully stitch weld these together. I guess in hindsight, I probably should have done it before I broke the car. Well, I guess no time like the present to weld this shit up. Also, I'm recording on my phone, so I won't be able to do any time lapses, mainly because my GoPro took a rock to the face when I went out with some friends up to Palomar. So yeah, so no time lapses, so I'll show you guys how it came out here in a sec. Okay, so a little update. Looks like we're getting pretty solid penetration, except I do see a crack right here. It was not visible from the other side, but everywhere else where I welded looks pretty good. Right here it's a little bit tricky because I'm welding from the other side and it's burning this bullshit, and anytime it does that, it kind of kicks it back at me. But I mean, not the prettiest welds, but it's definitely penetrating and definitely going back together slowly. That's for sure. I did have one small blow through there. I still got to go through this and actually clean all that up and just keep welding it. Afterwards, I am planning on probably putting maybe some patch panels over the welds. Thinking maybe some 14 gauge would be plenty strong, just to kind of bridge over where I welded and where all those stress cracks are. That way it could maybe act as a little bit more structural piece. I don't have any steel right now, so today I'm just gonna try and get all these cracks filled and then try and worry about maybe what we can do to bridge over those welds and really strengthen that sheet metal up, so hopefully it never happens in the future again. So I'm gonna keep going with this and see how it ends up. Alrighty, so looks like we got it all welded up. So this side, see, like you could pretty much see like where all that crap would come up out of. I tried cleaning it as best as I could, but that seam sealer is literally in every little pore. As you can see on this side, like I've been trying to dig it out of in here. It's all up in there. Been doing my best to like really clean all this metal up. I just started on this side, so still a lot more cleaning up to do on this side, but this side is pretty much finished welded up. I still got to do the back side a little bit more, but I did run out of argon, so I gotta go pick up some more. Yeah, not the most prettiest welds, but it's definitely penetrated. I'll tell you that much. I did run it over like 6 times. I really just wanted to fill in that gap as much as I could. I am gonna go back, smooth it all out, make it look pretty. At least no one's ever gonna see it, so who cares? On the underside, yeah, like you could tell where like it just starts to fucking melt, and it just like, I tried cleaning the backside as well as much as I could, but once it really starts to come out, it just fucking ruins the weld. But this weld didn't come out too bad. Like again, I still got this little hairline crack right there. I'm gonna try and fill that guy in. But I think I'm done for today on this project. I'm probably gonna be making 2 videos. I'm gonna try and make one video on just repairing the rear strut towers or shock towers, and then another video working on the hubs. So I tried looking up the information on YouTube on how to do the rear hubs. There's not a whole lot of videos, so I guess a perfect opportunity for me to make one, and hopefully it'll come out good enough that anyone who's struggling doing the IRS rear hubs, they'll at least know what they'll be looking into and just how much of a bitch it's gonna be. Because some of these videos, they just don't shut the fuck up and don't show the work. But alright, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow once I get some more argon. Later. Alright, so it's the next day. I actually ended up getting some gas yesterday, and then I don't think I videotaped it. I'd have to check back in the videos, but I kind of just came in the garage and just locked myself in here and just kind of like quickly welded the shock tower back on. Again, just used the same system I did before. Just started at a tip and then just kind of worked my way and just snaked it around and kind of pounded it back to shape. So essentially what I did was pretty much like where the crack started, try and get some of the metal lined up as much as I could evenly, and just started from there, and then the metal kind of formed back to where it wanted to be again, or where it used to be. It might not be perfect, but it should be good enough. So now the issue is with strengthening, because of course now we got a weak point. I mean, I wasted barely like half a roll of fucking welding wire fucking trying to weld that shit back together, but it's probably not the strongest thing how it used to be, or probably not the strongest thing in the world. So to prevent it, we got to go back in with a little bit of extra steel and try and strengthen that up. So walk around my super cramped garage. So this rusty piece of shit steel, of course, is just some regular, I think it's like 14 gauge sheet metal steel. Should be plenty strong. So I gotta clean this up, make a couple templates, and I still don't know how I'm gonna make them because it's gonna be a pain in the ass to get this to kind of conform to the strut tower. And of course, this isn't a perfectly flat surface. It's got all these like weird dents in it and fucking all these little ribs, you know, all that good shit. It's not a good flat surface. So I gotta design or cut out some kind of template that will allow me to shape it to the car, at the same time be able to cover most of that crack on both sides. So if that crack is in the middle, we want some strength on that covers both sides of it. That way that crack, that weak point right there, won't fail again, or at least make it a lot harder to fail. So I'm gonna cut up some of this cardboard fiber I got and make a good template. All right, cool. So I got my cardboard, right? And then I remembered actually a quick tech tip. When making templates and you got some weird oddball shapes, and this cardboard shit can be a pain in the dick to fucking cut, especially if you got the thick stuff like me. Tape. So of course this isn't gonna be the piece I'm gonna weld in, but this is super quick, takes 3 seconds, and then all I can do is just take a little quick razor blade and then just cut the little excess, make it look a little bit prettier. But I peel this off and I get my exact shape. This is actually great if you're ever doing some weird complex shapes, like a fender or something that's kind of rounded that you need flat. You can just put tape on it, then peel the tape, and the tape is gonna go flat and get you pretty close to where you got to be when you make that. So I'm gonna pull this off and then just transfer it over to cardboard, because I was trying to see and then putting the cardboard and then trying to see where the welds were, where the crack is, and constantly pulling it off, cutting it, pulling it off, cutting, pulling it off. I can literally just pull this off once and then just trim the little excess super quick and it's done. Super easy. All right, so it's not perfect, but it definitely got me super close to where it's at. I do got a little bit of extra excess so I can play around, and I kind of did cut a little extra where I might need a little bit of more flex. I might need to make one small relief cut up here to really get that bend up here, so it actually concaves up. But I think this is a good start. I could probably I'm gonna try and shape it around maybe one of my tires or a bucket. You know, when it comes to fabricating, you just gotta get creative. You gotta use every tool that's around you. You know, some tools are better than others, of course. You know, there's the right tool for the job, but we're not all rich here, so sometimes you just gotta get creative. Like maybe using a metal wheel off a jack, using a bucket to get that like weird curvature, you know. So get creative when it comes to trying to fab up some of these complex shapes. So especially like maybe a couple relief cuts could help you a ton, and then you'll still get all that strength, because then we'll just come back and weld through that. And of course this is a lot thicker steel, so we'll be able to weld her up a lot nicer. So then afterwards, here we can just peel off this tape. I've already cleaned up the metal somewhat. I'll clean it up a little bit better now that I got my shape. I just cleaned a good chunk of portion, and then I'm gonna come back and actually clean this up properly, so when we spray paint it we won't have any issues. So see, the bag's still a little rusty, but cool. So I'm gonna get to shaping this, and then I'll show you guys once it's kind of like tacked up and see how it looks in there. All right, cool. So got my piece, had to modify it just a smidge more, but there we can kind of see it. So as I tack it in, I'm actually going to use the hammer to help shape and form it. Wow, that looks like a lot rustier on the camera than it does in person. I don't know if it's just the light refracting off of it or what. But, so, did my best to clean it all off. I probably should clean a little bit more right here so we can get that good weld. Now that I got the light up underneath here, I can see I missed a few spots. So go in here, clean that up. I'm gonna see if I got any blow through primer. If not, I'll go back over it with a little bit of seam sealer and some more undercoating. Keep the noise of the rock chips down, because that is really annoying when you're driving a car with really sticky tires. And I mean, these Fox bodies are pretty much tin cans anyway, so. Alright, let's get to welding. Alrighty, so here we're starting. And have I mentioned how much I fucking hate welding this old steel? Because I'll get a nice ass weld like right there, but then I'll fucking go in a different spot, then I get all this bullshit. But I will be cleaning that up so it don't look like trash. So it looks something prettier like that. And I did check that is nicely burned in on the other side as well. So I know I made good penetration there. And this is the exact same fucking settings, and I made sure I cleaned that as best as I could, but it's old steel, porous, especially in the wheel well. Who knows how much crap is in the metal. And then you probably notice it's a little copper. I did use some of this weld through primer. So yeah, so as you go, use some pliers, you know, some channel locks, some clamps, whatever works, just something to hold it so you can start your tack. And as you go, you can probably see where I've already started beating it with a hammer. Just beat it with a hammer and make it conform to the shape, and then you just follow it through. That's pretty much all you got to do. So here in the next in this next clip, I'll show you once it's all done and completed. Alrighty, so there you go. Again, not the prettiest thing in the world. I do have one little small piece I gotta weld up, but we got a structural piece in, and she's fully welded on the inside. So all you gotta do is do this, but now on the other side. So don't know if I'm just gonna stop it there or if I'll show that, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So let me swap the camera. So from there, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just repeat the steps on the opposite side. Just make sure it's clean. This thing is a pain. I'm probably gonna call it a night. I just wanted to do at least this one side for today, just to feel like I did something on the car. And I mean, it's Tuesday. I got one side completely done. It just needs to be a little painted, and just clean up some of the corners on the inside, and I think it should hold plenty strong. If it breaks again, then well, I guess we're going cantilever or some dumb shit like that. Just go down the rabbit hole, or freaking back half the car, I don't know. Or just sell it. Who knows? But hope you guys enjoyed watching me fuck up my car even more, and hopefully fix it for the last time and never have any issues with those strut towers. Hopefully they're strong enough. I probably should have test fitted those coilovers in there, make sure I didn't pound the sheet metal in, but I don't think that's really gonna be an issue, since I had already clearanced all of the sheet metal around it, and I made that plate wider, so I don't think there's really gonna be an issue with the coilovers anymore rubbing on any steel, as long as I got them back straight. Because on one side you could tell from it when it leaned, the coilover was contacting that inside wall of that shock tower. But now hopefully they're plenty strong and we don't have any future issues. So catch you guys later. You know what to do. You know, if you guys want to like and subscribe, I appreciate it. I am gonna try and make some more videos. It's a little difficult, you know. I do have a regular job I do got to go to, and I do work long hours on that. So, but I'll try and at least keep some of the content flowing and keep you all up to date on the car. So, peace.